everyone, thanks so much for stopping by at the Peppered Peach today. We're going to be making some cheese balls from Joanna Gaines' Magnolia Cookbook, volume number 2, because we are going to assemble a charcuterie board. So we have almost everything out, right? We have our cheeses, we have some nuts, we have some cheese sticks. Of course, I'm going to maybe crisp up some sourdough that we've made in the past and get that onto our charcuterie board. But we are going to do all of that today. So first step is to make the cheese balls, and then we'll start assembling. All right, guys, our first step is first make sure that you have cream cheese out and it's room temp, because this will not work if it's not room temp. Her recipe actually calls for 2 8-ounce cream cheese packs, but I'm actually going to half it because we're making a small charcuterie board. So you will need 4 ounces in this case of white cheddar. So I'm going to half this, and we will use the rest of this cheese for our charcuterie board. So I'm going to leave that off to the side, and we are going to shred this. Now we're going to mix the cream cheese, the cheddar, and the Gouda also has to get shredded. So half of that Gouda that we have in the front will also get shredded, and that will go into our cream cheese mixture. So I'm going to mix this in right here, and then we are going to grab the Gouda because it's so Gouda, and I got smoked Gouda for our charcuterie board. I love Gouda, especially smoked. That's my jam. All right, so we are going to half this. Well, I'll just take some. I can also use whatever I don't use here onto our board. This is probably a little less than 8 ounces. That's okay. I will cut off another piece. Now, if you remember earlier this season, or maybe it was last season, we made a cheese ball that was covered or filled with figs and nuts. That is always a huge hit. People love that. And that always goes onto my charcuterie boards for the most part. But I never made these cheese balls before. So I was like, you know what? Time to try something new and expand my horizons. So here we go. That's not 8 ounces. So let me cut off a little bit more and we will get this going. All right, and we will put this off to the side. Where did I put? Oh, here we go. Okay. With cheese balls, I feel like you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want to put in there, however you want it to have covered in. Like, you know, she has different options. She puts sesame seeds, she has parsley, she has black pepper. She has, you know, you can do an everything mix. Maybe I tried the everything mix today. I don't know. But you can cover it any way you'd like, which I think is what's cool about it, is you can literally do whatever you want with the cheese ball. All right, so this calls for sun-dried tomatoes. I'm gonna drain it, and then we'll chop these up a little bit. Okay. I'm just gonna take a couple, because we don't remember we're halving this recipe, and I will use the rest somewhere else. What am I going to do with this, guys? I will put it through. Okay. Alrighty. Sometimes I like sun-dried tomato, sometimes I don't. It just depends on my mood. But in this, I think I'm gonna like it. All right, got our sun-dried tomatoes. We have some fresh basil to chop up. Alrighty. Alrighty. And we have a teaspoon of garlic salt. And I'm gonna grab some pepper. Just a little bit. All right, now we form this into some balls. All right. All right, so here's our ball. Too big, right? But that's okay. We're actually gonna make smaller ones. So I'm gonna grab a piece of parchment paper. I'm gonna make them into small balls, and then I will cover them in whatever we want, and then we'll let this refrigerate while we make our charcuterie board. All right, so we are ready to go. We have our ball here. I'm gonna do everything bagel seasoning for one outside coat, and then another side will be pepper. So like I said, you can use paprika, you can use parsley, you can use sesame seeds, whatever you like, figs, chopped up nuts, anything you want, this is how you roll it. So let's take it. I'm gonna make mini balls because this is a smaller charcuterie board. So I'm gonna roll it in the everything seasoning. And just like that, we have a cheese ball. And I'll do a couple more, and then we'll put this in the fridge. And I'm gonna do pepper, because I do love pepper. Okay, I'll do 2 more on each side. Maybe I'll do a mix of both. Ooh, a duo. Okay, I'll do 1 more. And I'm just gonna stick this into a plastic bag, the whole thing, and we'll just leave that in the fridge so whenever I'm ready to go at it again with, another charcuterie board, I have it ready. All right. Okay, bam. So I'm gonna pop these in the fridge. I'm gonna put this in the fridge as well, and we'll start assembling our charcuterie board. All right, so we have everything here for our charcuterie board for the most part, but I first wanna take some of my sourdough bread, and I am just going to crisp these up into crostinis. So I am just a couple, we're gonna butter, throw in the oven for a little bit, and we'll get them nice and crispy, and we'll add that to our charcuterie board. Well, bottom is a little crispy today, but that's okay. That is the whole point. Let's do this. Perfect. All right. Since it's getting crusty in the oven anyway, that won't matter. All right. So here we go. We got our bread. I'm not doing a lot because this is a small charcuterie board. Oh, that's it. It's okay. All right. So I'll put this in the oven just for a few minutes to get nice and toasty, and then we'll throw them on our board. All right. So let me clean this up, clear out some room, because now it really is time to assemble. All right, so let's chop up or cut up some of our cheeses. So I don't want to use that knife. I am going to make some very thin, but not too thin, cuts of our cheddar. And because this is a smaller charcuterie board, we're not going to need as much meats and much cheeses and all that jazzy stuff because it's going to fill up way fast. So you want to make sure that you have a good variety. So I'm going to use that for now. I'm going to put this onto my plate. Since we used some of the Gouda in our shoot for the cheese balls, cheesecake, that would not be good. It would not. I'm going to cut up some of this for our board. Now I call this this charcuterie board the Acorn because it's small. It feeds about 2 people, maybe 3. And it's a perfect size for those kinds of intimate dinners, date nights, whatever it may be. Now, the fun thing about charcuterie boards is that you can really do whatever you want, whatever you feel you want to have on your plate. If you like nuts, if you like different kinds of crackers, if you like, different kinds of fruits and nuts, that's where you kind of get really creative, and you can do a lot of fun things when you go into the store, and you can, pick and choose what you'd like on your charcuterie board, and then you just assemble it. It's a very creative and very fun process. So this one, like I said, I call the Acorn. I do sell these. If you go to thepepperedpeach.com and you're in the Tampa area, I can absolutely create this for you. And this again is for like 2, maybe 3 people. And you can really get creative with how you cut it as well. You don't have to be a certain way. You can cut it however you'd like. And it's a very fun process. It does take some time and thought, but it is fun. I find it very enjoyable. All right, I think that's good. We have about 5 pieces. So I'm gonna just move them onto here for now because I'm gonna assemble everything together once our cheeses are all cut. Now, I always usually put brie on here, but because we have 4 different cheeses on here, I think we're okay. Penny agrees. So I'm gonna put these cheese away and then we'll come back and assemble. All right, so now comes the fun stuff, right? You can be super, super creative with how you wanna present your stuff, right? So this is a lot of my favorite things. I don't have goldfish, but I went to a local market and they had whale chips. Very similar to my precious goldfish, which I usually add onto my board, but those will suffice. So we have our meats and we have some jam, we have some spread over here. We have tomatoes, we have apples, we have peaches, of course. And I did take the crostinis out, so they are ready to go. So now, again, like I said, is the fun part. So, time to get creative. And there's no method, you just go with it. Whatever you're feeling, you go with it. So I'm first gonna start with the meats. I'm gonna take some of the pepperoni that we have here, the salami, I should say. And I'm gonna make a rose. I'm sure you've all seen this online, people doing this, they have special ways of doing it. I like to use this nice wine glass that my girlfriend got me while I was visiting her. And I love it. And it's multi-purpose, wine and meat. So this will create a nice little rose. Now what's fun about the charcuterie board is that you spend a lot of time putting it together, creating this nice little masterpiece. And my father-in-law always says, he watched me the last time I made it, and he's like, I can't believe you're gonna let people ruin this beautiful spread. And you know what? He's not wrong, I understand, but it goes back to having a little bit of fun, creativity, and you like to see people's faces when they step in and they see how much time and thought you put into your charcuterie board. So here we go. First one's in, bam. Now sometimes I won't use a thing now because it's pretty well set, so we're good. But this is when I start to kind of figure out how I want to design it. Now this is a small, like I said, 1 to 2 people. So I have to be very careful about how I spread the rest of the ingredients because I want to make sure I get as much in as possible without being too much of a burden. So for now I'm going to start putting these around the side. And I may move this. This is a process. I may start putting things in and I might say, I don't like that there anymore. That's how it works. So you need patience. And Penny knows, look, she's relaxed and she knows exactly what's in store with her right now, with what's going on. All right, So now I'm going to take some other meat here, and I'm actually going to make this into little flowers. And what we'll do is we'll take this, push it through. Oops. Gloves are a little slippery today. And we'll just have a nice little rose here. And we'll have this go, we'll put a couple on here. This one sheet, it'll start to even out once I get some more on here. Now the good thing with charcuteries is you can do whatever, like I said, whatever you want. If you want one that has no meat, if you want one that's all vegetables, if you want one that's all fruits with dips and jams, or if you want one that's all dessert, that is also a huge hit. Maybe on the next show, the next episode, you'll get to see me make a chocolate salami, which I found from this really cool book that my mom got me. And it's basically like dark chocolate, and it's super yummy. So there's so many opportunities with our charcuterie boards. So, all right, so far we're off to a good start, right? Do we like it? Okay. All right, so now let's add in some crackers over here. I'm gonna put some here. And the crackers, again, your choice if you have a certain brand that you like. For me, it's whatever I'm feeling in that moment. These are cute little butterflies. And let's put in some cheeses. And you can get fun. You can get funky and put some fun designs in here. I try to start with the bigger stuff first that I know needs to get on here, like the cheeses and the meats first and the crackers, and then you can really start to spread things around. So we have our blue cheese here. We'll put together. All right. We have our Gouda, plain old Gouda. Put some here. No, we'll do it here. I'll put some cheddar in the middle in between these two meats. Okay. I think I'm going to do another meat so that it kind of comes off to the side, so it kind of matches the other side. So I am going to roll some more of this up. And then we can add some onions. Okay. All right, so let's get this on this side. Might have to move this a little bit. And then there we go. Okay, set. So I think we're good on the meat. Perfect. So now let's see, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? I have some apple here and some pears. So let me chop up some apples and pears. And I also want to make sure I have enough room for the spread. And some honeycomb. I'm a big fan of having honeycomb on charcuterie boards because with cheeses it just tastes so good. So I probably should have opened this before I started, right? Maybe. No. Oh, it's just, how easy is that? Okay, silly. So you can put some mustard. You can do so much. You can do any kind of spread if you like mustards or if you like certain kind of jams or whatever it is. This is where you would add it in here. So I'm going to put this off to here. All right. let's cut up some apples. Right. So I'm going to cut this into quarters, or I'll do slices. Because sometimes I use apple as my place for, in place of, I should say, of the bread. Because I love cheese and apples. It is super yummy. Do I want it? Do you like it this way? Let's see. This works. This is too thick. This might be too thick. You definitely want your charcuterie board to be welcoming and not feel like you're going to ruin something if you pick something up. So I'm trying to be careful as to not feel like it's going to invade any other space here. I don't know if I like this, guys, but that's okay. This is what the process is. You know what? Maybe I do this instead. On the side. Let's do that. And I'm also conscious of coloring. So I want to make sure that the blank spaces, like I don't like this space right here anymore, so I'm going to move this out a little bit because it's too similar. And then I'm going to fill that little gap there with something fun. But I just want to make sure it's not too much of the same direction, etc. It's an art form. All right, that should do that. Okay, apple's done. We have some apricots here, or apricots. Tomato, tomato, apricots, apricots. Apricots? Sounds like a political party. All right. Throw some more in here. All right. Okay, we got them in. Let's add in some pickles. Now you can cut them. I'm probably gonna cut it in a nice half so that we can get like this, maybe. What do we think about that? Okay. Another one. The little tail off. We'll do it on this side with this cheese. And I think I'll do one more. Who doesn't love pickles? Okay, here's the pickles. Now, let's see what else we got. This fell, no big deal. Once I start adding more stuff around it, it'll be perfecto. Now let's add in some olives. Now I love olives. I do love the Italian green olives, but I don't have them today. So I am going to use the black olives. Okay. What else we got? We got some peaches and tomatoes. So let me just rinse this off. Let's get some peaches on here. Okay. So we have our honeycomb, which is such a major plus when it comes to the charcuterie board, at least for me. I love having natural honeycomb on my charcuterie board. It makes a world of difference. It's so fresh, it's so nice, and it just tastes so good. If I had brie, I would put this in the middle of the brie. so that it would just soak into the brie. It is yummy. So we have that there. That's just enough. We don't need a lot. So we'll make sure we get everything else in. Remember, we have our cheese ball. So I'm gonna add a cheese ball. Let's do this here. It might just be one this time, and that's fine, because we still have to get in some of our, actually, I think I can do one more. Let's do one more. I'm gonna do it on the other side. There we go. Okay, good. Now, the last couple things that we're gonna add on here to finish this out is we're gonna cut up some tomatoes. So I do like fresh vegetables on the charcuterie board. And I do like a fun medley because it spices up the colors a little bit and gives it a little bit more of a vibrant look. Just so happens I have a little honey still on here, so I'm not mad at that, because the flavors just really blend nicely together. And we'll do one or two more. Okay. Now let's add in some nuts and some cheese sticks and some whales, and we're good. And just like that, we'll have our Acorn charcuterie board. Now these things I get at the store and they're very good. So I highly recommend the little twisty, and I'm not saying it correctly, breadsticks. All right, so then we'll add in all right, so we have our cheese sticks, our whales kind of getting into those little spots, and any other extra space that I see on this, on here, I'm actually gonna add in a California medley, nuts and raisins and craisins, and it has walnuts. And that's just, some people, like my father-in-law, love nuts. So it's a nice way to just get in some craisins or nuts with your cheese and meat selection. And just like that, we have our charcuterie board. So again, you can do so much with it, but let me take this off, wash my hands, clean this up, and I'll close it out. All right, guys, so thanks so much for stopping by as I made my charcuterie board with the cheese balls. I've never made those cheese balls before, but I'm sure they're delicious, and I don't want to mess it up right now. But thank you so much for watching me put this together. It's so fun to do it. It's so creative. You can do whatever you want with these charcuterie boards. And like I said, this is a good mix of cheeses and some veggies and some fruits and meats, and it really comes together so nicely. It's a great way to just have a little bit of fun. And what better way to do that than to bring some really yumminess together for some gatherings. So thank you so much again for coming by and watching me make the Acorn. And if you're interested and you're in the Tampa area, please reach out to the Peppered Peach, and I'm there to come and help you. So thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day. See ya. My name is Abby. Thanks so much for stopping by at the Peppered Peach today. We're going to be checking out one of Joanna Gaines's from volume number 2. No. Okay.